leave all the mics. That's what's streaming. And let's go get high. This is what John's doing. I'm sure he doesn't. He just wants to see the gameplay. I wonder if I should just bust that to that. Yeah. Just that one. And I see all the stuff. Okay, cool. I'm getting you a headset. And secondly, we see all your camera set. And it looks a little blown out. I'm not the best camera guy. That's why I always hire you guys. Of course. And then he's live, like, 100 people jump on, like, instantly. I'm thinking maybe I should just bust the thing with my phone into him so he doesn't see himself. Like, just this input, this virtual one, like, just so he sees that, or should he see everything? Like, I want to see the whole show.
That's the main thing that we need to see. But
So would it be better just to see the box cam? So he just wants to see that over here? Or you want him to just see that? Or do you want him to see the whole show?
yeah, let him see the whole show.
Because when he sees himself, he might get a little bit spooky.
Come on. Well, tell us.
He'll be like, I look switchy.
So I say go with that instinct first.
Cool.
Thank you. Good luck. Have fun.
Cool.
If you'd like to get up, I would ask you to please move to the back of the room or to the other side, just so we don't have to
Godspeed.
exit
Yeah,
into the fire.
it sucks here. I've done that.
So please, when you're done, migrate to the back corner or into the back room. We have
Because
outside
everyone's
going
talking.
on and the
You have an extra switch on here.
also, if at any point you want
Maybe at lunch we could run him a hard line. Like we can maybe.
either one of the good stuff or the storekeeper to let you drop from the system, we don't want someone getting
There is like a crew of like it looks like they use it for the business. And then I mean I don't know if you want to be over there once you change the camera stuff to turn that. Sorry. Okay. I don't know if you want to change the camera and then just let him know like we're about to go live and blah blah blah. We'll count him in and then we'll shoot over here. And then I guess we need like some juicy of the play, right? Or if he's just doing like maybe some intro. I was just saying we probably.
Hey Joe, how's it going? This is Max over in Soundland. Just FYI, I'm about to put in my headphones, and Ben's gonna come over to talk to you in a little bit, and yeah.
Oh, like the ambient headset. Or just like we got headphones. I don't know. It's like they just feel weird. What do you think about it? I mean, I have a headset. It's like a typical studio. Yeah. Yeah. got that, but I still see some all the no draw. Yeah, exactly. So we get the OSD on it.
Are you ready for them to set up?
Mike should be.
Okay. Welcome from California. We've got the Battle of the Bay. It's a huge Disney Lorcana tournament. Round one's actually already started, and we're going to be jumping in with round two pretty soon. I've merched up with my Pixar merch. I got to visit Pixar Studios in today's stream. You're going to be seeing some of that behind-the-scenes footage from me at Pixar the other day, which is awesome. We've got some Disney Lorcana Challenge players that are very well known out in the Bay Area here in San Francisco in California. We've got Ed, who won one of the Disney Lorcana Challenges. A bunch of the Pixar team are playing. It is a really, really exciting event, and very much looking forward to seeing the spicy Set 6 deck lists. Let us know in the chat if you're excited as well. We're here live on YouTube and on Twitch. Huge shout out to the organizers. This is a non-profit event, and it's been amazing to see all the community, wide mix of players from all different sorts of backgrounds. Yeah, that's me. We're here. We're in California. We're going to have some guests probably joining us throughout the day on the sofa, but for now, you're stuck with me. But we're not too far away from getting on with round two of the day. Round number one, like I say, has already happened. We were sort of having some issues just getting myself set up in a nice little spot. But the weather here in California, not what you might expect. It is miserable. It's raining. We've got flood warnings that took place yesterday, which when I was obviously coming to California, I was fully expecting the sunshine in my sandals. But yeah, unfortunately, it's very, very wet. And speaking of Ed, here you see the player to the right, Ed, Disney Lorcana Challenge champion, was the champion of around the third or fourth Lorcana Challenge in America. I think a set 5 tournament. It was either early set 5, late set 4, but Ed piloted Ruby and Amethyst to victory in that tournament. I had him on the channel, and it was really, really interesting to hear all his deck building thoughts. He had like this theory about the GOAT being sort of an uninkable card in a sense. Shout out to our production team, obviously working really hard to get this all for you. I'm really excited. You can see the lore count down to the bottom. But obviously, as we get going today, we're going to be, I'm just getting into the swing of things here, working out how everything's working. We've had a few, basically we got into the venue a little bit later than planned, which is why we're starting the stream here for round one. But obviously, as time goes on, things I'm sure are going to get more smooth. It is a 2-game format. And that means that the players here in Swiss, it's going to be 8 rounds of Swiss. We've got over 128 players. So we were expecting maybe 7 rounds of Swiss, but it's actually going to be 8. So a long old day, and this is round 2. It is going to be the 2-game format where for each game win, you get 3 points. But if you can get that 2-0, it's going to be a 7-pointer. It's going to be China Box Followers inked. and then it's going to be 1 ink spent on that Porpsicle there. So we've got some, I think it was Chernobog's Followers inked, if I'm not mistaken. For Ed, it's going to be Magic Broom inked and Chernobog's Followers of their own. I can see a legendary Sisu in the hand there for the opponent to the left. I'm going to try and find out the name of our player here to the left. Like I say, we're just getting ourselves set up this morning. But Ed, very well known for Ruby Amethyst, and it looks like that might be the case again. It is going to be closed deck lists. 2 ink, and it's going to be the Tipo. Tipo, of course, the set 5 card. 1/2 stat line, but Ed's not messing around. He quests with the Chernobogs, inks an Enchanted Maui, and in comes the Snake, bouncing that Chernobog's Followers back to the hand. So Ed revealing fully now that they are playing Ruby and Amethyst, that classic color combination. I think it's the first set 6 card of the tournament, or at least for the broadcast here. It's Sail the Azurite Sea for 2 ink. This allows you to draw a card and then ink a second card this turn. Porpsicle played. And that double ink then coming through. 5 ink now on the board thanks to Sail and Tipo. And another copy of Sail the Azurite Sea. Look at this. Now a 3rd card can be inked this turn, and that is exactly what happens. That is a lot of ink. And an ice block for good measure. My goodness. 6 ink, and it's their 3rd turn. Thanks to that Tipo and then double Sail the Azurite Sea. Well, Ed, this is not in fast forward. This is live, everybody. The players are really just playing this quickly. It's Sisu for Ed, which can, of course, quest for 3. But now what can our Ruby Sapphire player do with all of this ink? 7 ink already, 2 cards in hand. Right about now, some card draw with something like a Hiram Flaversham would be a great option. Let us know in the chat if you're excited. It's going to be nothing played, I don't think, for Ruby Sapphire. But then Ed with the Rabbit, as well as that questing with the Sisu and the Snake. We saw that Chernobog's Followers questing as well. So I believe they're up at, I think, 5 or 6 lore right now. Ice block, double Porpsicle down on the board. That Tipo was taken out by the Snake a couple of turns ago now. Ice block's going to exert, lowering the strength of 1 character by 1. Not sure what it targeted just yet, but the players will be. It's going to be the little Sisu, and that is going to take out the 3-cost Sisu on Ed's side of the board there. It was at 2 strength, Sisu human putting it down to, the Ice block putting it down to 1, and taking it out. The Rabbit's going to quest for Ed. Fox coming through, bouncing the Rabbit back. We've seen Genie obviously come into the metagame here for Azurite Sea, but Ed still going strong with those Rabbits. It's going to be Chernobog's Followers into the Inkwell. And play passes back on over to Ruby Sapphire. It's another Porpsicle for 1 ink. Still, I think, 7 to play with that human Sisu on the board with that 1/1 stat line. Ed with an abundance of cards in hand right now, looking to get that early lead in terms of board control and questing. The longer this game goes on, the more you're going to fancy the Sapphire player with that ramp. It's going to be the Snake taken out with the Ice block and Brawl combining. Human Sisu questing for 1, and back on over to Ed. These players playing at lightning speed. This Human Sisu is evasive, can't be challenged by the Fox, but the Madame Medusa can take it out, denying a potential shift perhaps. Looks like the Fox is also going to quest for 1 here. It's going to be a lucky dime for 7 ink on the board, but nothing to target with yet. Just an abundance of items, but items, while nice, are not how you win the game. Need some characters to get some questing in. More questing for Ed, who also is sat on a Madame Medusa. Be prepared. Lots of Ruby threats. It's going to be Maui into the ink. And another Sisu. Ed really going wide with this board. Can quest for a total of 5 each turn. It's going to be a new card. It's Yokai. Yokai. Do you know what? I'm not even 100% certain what it does. I know it's got a 4/4 stat line, it quests for 2. And it has some synergy with items and drawing cards. I'm sure the chat's got us covered. It's going to be Madame Medusa dealing with that Yokai. I thought it was a 4/4 stat line. Clearly it's a 3/3 though. Ed Really, really playing nice and quickly. We'll get that lore update for you as soon as possible, everybody. Of course, the longer the day goes on, the more settled everyone's going to be here. The production team working super hard to get everything. So you can just see the phone screen there recording lore. I think we'll just try and get that in shot for you. It's going to be the Scar coming through. Scar, of course, with Rush. And when it challenges, I believe it might have to banish in the challenge, it readies itself. So a really nice option here to take out some of Ed's characters. It's not quite a be prepared, but it is definitely a board clear to a degree, combining also with those Popsicles, healing Scar to take out multiple threats at once. Who needs be prepared when you've got all those Popsicles and that Scar? What a play. Scar is going to be left ready and waiting. And it's going to be another rabbit, though, for Ed, spending another 4 ink. When I spoke with Ed in my interview way back, after he won his Lorcana challenge, he talked about getting to about 12 ink with a Ruby Amethyst deck. So you can make plays like double Castle Goat. It's definitely a well-documented strategy of Ed. He's very well known in the wider Lorcana community, but particularly here in the Bay Area. That Scar, of course, ready to go again, potentially taking out multiple threats at once. Looks like the Lucky Dime is going to be activated. Scar ready to go again. It's going to be the Be Prepared, actually sung by Scar though, so costing no ink at all. So Ruby Sapphire still with an abundance of ink to play with, but is there much to go alongside it? It's not going to happen. Deciding to instead go for that dime. Really, really interesting last turn. But here we see Ed, just this abundance of ink. They're now up to 8, they go Rabbit and Genie. A lot of Ruby Amethyst players, you just don't get that high up in terms of ink, but it's something that Ed does routinely. Genie, of course, when it enters play, drawing a card. Rabbit doing the same. It's another Be Prepared that comes through. So Ed's Rabbit leaves the board, but allows him to draw a card. And now they open up with the Friends. Ed drawing a couple of cards. Okay, I'm just getting into my Discord here, so it's Kevin is our other player, so apologies there to Kevin. I'm just getting myself set up for the day as well. That double Flynn Rider from Ed, demanding an answer, and while there's no board clear, Kevin answers with that Maui, becoming the highest strength character on the board. But here, Ed going to quest for 3. The question is are they at 8 or at 18? I think that might be. Is that the 20 or is that the 10? It looks like that is the 20. Ed taking game number 1. Those players, Ed and Kevin, not messing around, playing incredibly quickly. And Ed just really making use of those rabbits, those genies, drawing an abundance of cards, getting that early lore in. We saw them have that turn 1 Chernobog into the snake. There was Sisu on turn 3 from Ed. And then they just continued to put threat after threat down onto the board. Yeah, big shout out to everyone here in the Bay Area. This is Lorcana Battle of the Bay. We've got around 128 players. We've got round 2 of Swiss happening right now. Ed, who you can see on Ruby Amethyst, a Disney Lorcana Challenge champion, up against Kevin. It is closed deck lists. However, we will be moving on to an open deck list format into the top cut. I'm just taking a look at some of the lists here in front of me, and I can see that Ed's list on Ruby Amethyst is definitely a little bit different to what you might expect. 3 copies of the new Genie in there for Ed, as well as 3 rabbits. And in terms of other set 6 cards, you might think that's it, but no. There's also a couple copies of Maui Shark, and very interestingly, a couple copies of a set 1 first chapter card. You don't see that often. which is Dragonfire. Dragonfire, of course, this 5-cost uninkable card, which can banish a chosen character, and not a card that we've really seen in competitive play since the first chapter. But with Maui Shark, whenever it banishes something in a challenge, you can add a action card from your discard back into your hand. So Ed looking to reuse those Dragonfires multiple times. So it's a really interesting setup. They also have a couple Tremaines, a couple Medusas in there. And then on the other side, Kevin has some Maui Sharks of their own, it would seem. Yeah, 3 Maui Sharks. They also have 3 copies of the Yokai card that we saw them play down in that game, as well as a copy of a Pirate's Life. So the Yokai, whenever this character quests, you return one of your items to your hand to pay 2 ink less for the next item you play this turn. But Ed coming out on top in game number 1. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream. Let us know what decks you're excited to see this weekend. It's a long day ahead of us. 8 rounds of Swiss, then into a top cut. So I've got my coffee ready for the day. I'm Pixar'd up, guys. I got to visit Pixar Studios on Thursday, which is very local to where the tournament here is being held. We've actually got some Pixar employees competing today. And let me tell you, they do not mess about. We've got some very, very strong players. But here we are in game 2. It's going to be Chernobog's followers and Flynn Rider down on the board for Ed. And Kevin started things off with that popsicle. Ed's going to be going first in game 2. It is the 2-game format, each player being able to go first once. So Ed took down game 1 despite being the player going second. And in this 2-game format, of course, 2-game wins is going to get you 7 points. That's what Ed's looking for. And this Flynn Rider could spell danger because it's already started to gain an abundance of lore. Ed already at 6 lore this early on. That Flynn Rider and Sisu combo is not easy to deal with. Kevin going to be looking for something like a Brawl on turn 3. No ice block yet for Kevin. We saw Kevin making use of that ice block human Sisu combo. It's going to be Sail the Azurite Sea on 2. This is going to allow Kevin to ink more. And in most matchups, this is going to be nice. You're looking to do what Sapphire does, which is get a big pool of ink as quickly as possible. However, with that Flynn Rider frenemy on the opponent's side of the board, there is danger, even in this double sail play. So going to be a triple ink turn here for Kevin, looking to get up to that board clear as quickly as they possibly can. But that Flynn Rider is going to be gaining lore at a lightning pace. Before the turn even starts, it's going to be Ed gaining 3 lore thanks to that Flynn Rider. They're almost halfway to 20 already. And there's another Flynn Rider in hand just for good measure. Ed at 3 ink right now. Nothing to brawl. Of course, can quest with the board. It's going to be brawl into the inkwell. And a goat just for good measure. Ed now halfway there. Is going to quest with everything else for a total of 4. Has the option, of course, of drawing with the Chernobog's followers, but is going to leave it on the board. Kevin now draws, is at 5 ink currently, I believe. So could ink this turn up to 6, but of course that Be Prepared is going to cost 7. It's going to be Flaversham, getting rid of that Popsicle, but still the high strength card on the board. There's 4 strength on the goat, the Sisu's even more. This Flynn Rider continuing to be a menace. Is it going to be all over before it's even begun? With Ed just absolutely dominating Sapphire here. Sapphire with that slow start and Ed just taking advantage of it with the Flynn Rider, the Sisu, the Chernobogs, and the Goat. As simple as you like. It's going to pass back on over to Ed. Flynn Rider's going to gain the lore, and that's 20 already. It's Ed taking it down 2 games to 0. They're going to be getting themselves that bonus point for a total of 7 points. Ed, a Disney Lorcana Challenge champion, and it's clear to see why. An absolute master of Ruby Amethyst, not messing around at all here in round 2 of Battle of the Bay. All right, that was game 2, round 2. Ed taking it down. I might see if we can get Ed to come on over and join us and have a little word with him about that, because that was very, very quick indeed. But yeah, we're here in California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. We're in the middle of a bit of a stormy week, but the weather today, while we're inside, is looking quite nice and shiny. We've got a lovely little venue, around 128 players. Let us know how everyone is doing in the chat. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, it is a set 6 tournament. Good to see you, Rachel. It is 2-game format. Hey, Blackout. That was so speedy, wasn't it? Are you recording this to upload? Yeah, we'll be making some videos from it as well, and the YouTube VOD will be live a lot of the time.
Hey Joe, just want to let you know that we're going to
I like
do 22
watching and
minutes
playing,
of Vamp,
but feel like the 2-game
and
format
we're
is
going to
not
take it
great.
over to Pixar in a little bit.
Just a little bit quiet in my ear. I'm going to try and turn you up. My end. Don't know if I should fiddle with that.
Hey Joe, we're going to cut to Pixar in a little bit.
All right. So I was at Pixar Studios the other day, and I got some recording done. So we're about to go and watch myself at Pixar Studios. I haven't seen this yet. I'm quite excited. Let's go. Pixar. Yep. So here I'm at Pixar Studios in California, which is absolutely mental to be here. And just had a tour of the studio. We played some Lorcana up in the top room. I played against 4 different Pixar employees. They have a little locals that they go to at the studio.
You're clear,
and I
Joe.
got smoked. I lost 4 games, winning 0 times. I kind of like that. It shows you the Pixar guys, they know what they're doing. They play Lorcana and they take it pretty seriously, which is really, really amazing. Really cool facilities. You can see there's like a little soccer pitch over here, or football as I'd like to call it. We went through and looked at the animation studios as well, where there's always these custom offices that the animators have built themselves. There was a submarine, there was a castle, there was like a little tiki hut, which people have turned into their own offices. Like super amazing vibes, and everyone like super proud to be working on it. There's big theaters that they've got here. I think 7 different cinemas or something like that in the building, which is just mental. And the Steve Jobs building, as its name, with like really cool architecture. We learned all about it. We saw a lot of the old history of Pixar. Absolutely mind-blowing to be here, super surreal. And wow, it's been so much fun to meet all of the guys working at Pixar, and really looking forward to Pixar coming to Lorcana, as I'm sure they are as well. We know that's coming in 2026. Super amazing to be here, and what a day it's been. So cool to be here, it's so surreal.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Pixar film?
That's a good question.
Not to put you on the spot.
I watched Soul. I really like Soul.
Oh, yeah.
And I really loved Elemental recently.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one.
It's such a lovely film.
Because I've been watching quite a lot recently, a lot of mainly Disney films, to be honest, because Lorcana.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, I've been watching quite a few Pixar ones more recently.
Nice.
Historically, it would have to probably be Finding Nemo.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
That's
Very wet.
Yeah, it's usually not like this, I swear.
Okay, I am here back again, and I'm actually. Do you want to come squeeze in next to me? I'm joined by Ed. I have a microphone here, so we'll try and share.
Yep, hello.
So Ed, that was pretty speedy.
Yeah, open the nuts. Against red blue, yeah, if you open the nuts on the play, it's very hard to lose. And he kind of just had a slow start. Even when he was on the play, I think he ran out of juice really fast by playing sail and just like inking his whole hand. So I think that is like a problem that people don't think about with sail in particular. Like you do get to ink an additional time, but you run out of juice really quickly. So that's like something to be aware about.
Yeah, with the one jump, you can often like sing it with Tipo and maybe get to 7 attempts sooner than he was able to, right?
Yeah.
But by the time he was at 6 ink, he'd already got to 20.
Yeah, I mean, when he was on the play though, like he was able to ink to like 7 ink, but he had to like pass because he just had nothing. Yeah, he just had to pass because he had like nothing to do. So, if you have nothing to do, then yeah, you'll probably lose against Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah. Okay, so you're playing Ruby Amethyst. And there's a few things about your list a little bit different compared with previous sets. I had it just in front of me, so I noticed that you've got the genie in there, but you haven't dropped the rabbits. You've got a bit of a split of rabbits and genie.
Yeah.
And you've also got the Maui shark in there. Were you tempted by any other set 6 cards, or were these the main 2 that caught your eye?
Yeah, I think it's mostly genie, to be honest, and I only kind of experimented with shark recently. Because with Shark, I kind of like the fact that you're able to kind of like cycle back some of your actions. And I thought that just having Brawl and Friends and like B prep was a little bit low. I mean, I did cut some of the B preps to add the Dragonfires into the deck. and I thought it'd be interesting to try to like attack something, Dragonfire, recycle the Dragonfire. So I wanted to have like a little bit more diversity, especially like once we get to Top Cut, it'll be like an open deck list, right? And I wanted to have a little bit more kind of different answers to cards in the meta.
Yeah, so Dragonfire obviously in there. Are you using the normal Dragonfire or the DLC
of course,
participation?
I have a
one?
ton of those, so I was
Nice.
really happy that I was actually able to use those.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, they're just kind of collecting dust. So I think in a shell like this, I think it makes sense to play Dragonfire. And I had some predictions that there will be other kind of Maui Shark decks in the field. And if you kind of look at the shell like from before, there was actually not many answers to the Maui Shark. So I wanted to like add something so I can like deal with those as well.
Was there any other actions you attempted by? For example, there's a new 7 cost, which is similar to Dragonfire, but it draws a
Energy
card.
Blast, right?
Were you ever tempted by that?
So I think I did think about that card, but I think in particular, I wanted something in the 5 slot because right now there's just Elsa and Maui. And I realized the 5 cost Maui is kind of not great against a lot of the current meta decks because like, for example, like if you're in the mirror and they go like Genie, like the Maui actually really doesn't do anything and the Elsa is kind of what puts in a lot of the work. So I wanted to have something else in that 5 slot and I thought that this Dragonfire fit very nicely. Something else I kind of noticed were people playing, like in Green Steel, they're playing like the Pluto, Beast, and just like Diablo in general, right? And this Dragonfire is actually a very clean answer to those cards. So I think it kind of pulls double duty in that sense as well.
Also, just noticing the difference between your list you won the Lorcana challenge with. You still got that legendary Sisu in. I think it was just 1 that you had when you won the challenge.
2.
It was 2 then as well, so
Yeah.
still sticking strong with that Sisu.
Yeah, so I think Sisu is pretty good right now just because I think a lot of people are playing some like green style decks and Sisu is really good against those green decks. And I've also seen some like kind of yellow, like not necessarily aggro, but just like kind of they try to go wide and play a bunch of these like small things. So I think Sisu puts a lot of work in there. And also in the mirror, now that people, or from what I've seen, a lot of people are playing tons of Genies, tons of Rabbits. Right?
Yes.
And this Sisu is able to like, remove those very, very nicely. And also Quest for 3, which is actually very relevant in the mirror as well.
No 1 cost Diablos. Were you ever tempted? You've got 4 copies of the Churnabox Follows and 4 copies of the Brooms already.
Yeah, so I mean, earlier in the meta, I did try the 1 cost 0 attack Diablo. And the issue I had with him was that he wasn't really able to like contest anything. And I think it's very similar with the 1 cost Moana as well. Like, yes, it's like a pretty big body for like a 1 cost, like 3/2. It's pretty big. But I wanted a little bit more interaction with my opponent, and those cards didn't really provide me the interaction.
Moana can't challenge unless you have a captain, and I don't
there's
think there's any captains, right?
No good captains in red-purple, right? So I think that those cards are probably better in like a more aggressive strategy, but I wanted more cards that are able to kind of interact with my opponent, especially like if they play like aggro and they're playing like the 1/1s, like Lilo Maleficent or like Curse Merfolk. I definitely wanted some way to attack those and not just like kind of lose the game like on the draw specifically.
And you've also got 2 Medusas and 2 Tremaines. I mean, I think more recently we've been seeing people go heavier on Medusa and less heavy on Tremaine, but you've actually got 2 of each.
Yeah. So I think that's another kind of like open deck list kind of choice. Like if they don't know what they're gonna play against, then it makes it a little bit more awkward for them to like make certain plays, right? And just having more options is really nice. I think I think nowadays it's like you can't really go too much on one side or the other, but because you'll lose to the other matchups. So I think right now they're still like can deal with most decks. Like you can still play those cards against most decks, right? Like they'll always kill something, and you can like pick them up with like the Meta Min package if you need to reuse them against certain matchups, right? So I think 2/2 is a nice balance. You don't get clogged with them too often, but there's still enough where you can see them when you want to and reuse them when you want to.
Awesome. So you have stuck with Ruby Amethyst. It's a deck which we know you're very confident on. Do you think it's good enough to, for example, win Paris coming up next week or in a couple of weeks?
I think Ruby Amethyst is one of those things that get better as like the meta develops, because you're able to kind of see what everyone else is playing and then kind of react to it and play more cards that you think are more favored. For example, right, like let's say for example like Emerald Steel becomes very popular, then you probably want to increase your accounts to like Medusa, Sisu, Maui, Shark, Dragonfire, like those things are very good against like Emerald Steel, right? So if it becomes that way, then I think it really has a good chance. But the deck is very adaptable. I think it really has a good chance to like win any tournament if you kind of put the right tech choices inside.
Do you think there's a deck that you're particularly worried about seeing? I mean, maybe that's one of the advantages of Ruby Amethyst is usually it's got an even matchups across the board. Do you think there's anything you'd particularly struggle against?
I try to make this deck like have a little bit of game, like you said, like 50-50, and you try to skill diff. But I mean, Emerald Steel is still very scary, and like I definitely had to make some concessions. Like, you know, I realized sometimes the B prep, it seems like it would be good against that deck, but it often gets ripped from your hand.
Yep.
And I wanted to have some answer to like Diablo in Cove or like, you know, Beast in Cove with like that additional Dragonfire instead. And then having some of these like Maui Half Sharks to kind of block the Diablo from questing. So I did make some concessions to try to like, you know, even that matchup a little bit. And, you know, sometimes if they have the net draws, like you still can't do anything about it. So yeah, Emerald Steel is a very scary deck, I would say. And I would say there's some like hyper aggro decks where, you know, if they're on the play, they open like one drop, or Daisy, double Daisy. Those type of things, like you probably lose as well. But, you know, other than that, I feel like this deck still has a lot of game into like most of the meta.
Awesome. And we're here in California in the Bay Area. Can you tell me a little bit about the community for Disney Lorcana around here?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically a store you can play at every day if you really wanted to. And I would say, you know, turn out probably like 8 to 12 players, like most nights, even like on weeknights, right? So I think the community everyone's very nice here, and like it's very nice to go out and, you know, play with everyone. So yeah, if you're out here, yeah, come check out all the stores. I mean, let me think. So there's like, you know, the store I primarily go to is Game Castle Fremont, and they run their leagues on like Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. and they have like a free play night on Wednesday. And yeah, there's a ton of stores. There's like a bunch of the Legends chain that they run league on like Wednesday, but they run it at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, which is kind of strange because like most people are still working, right? And then Game Castle Fremont does their Wednesday like 6 o'clock to like 8 o'clock. And then Redwood City does theirs from 7 to 9. And then Friday, Magitech 7 to 9. And Saturday, I think Tofu's does theirs. So yeah, there's a ton of like Lorcana out here. And if you want to come play, then yeah, come check it out.
Yeah, and I hear usually it's not raining this much.
Yeah, I think you came at like literally the most rainiest time of the year because, you know, the meme is like, you know, sunny California, right? And most of the time it's literally, I think, like, well, you came in like 2 days ago maybe?
Yes.
And it wasn't raining yet, right?
It wasn't raining too much. We had to do a few loops around because it was so windy on the plane, and then it's just been raining ever since.
Yeah, but...
So it's not raining now, but I'm inside now. So.
It'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, so any predictions outside of yourself? Is there anyone else that we should be keeping an eye on in this tournament?
To be honest, I think everyone I've seen is actually trying something new, which is good. Like, especially like I would say this is probably like our first major tournament, right, of set 6.
Yep.
So I see a lot of people like actually go out of their comfort picks and play like different decks. So honestly, I have no idea. So like that's why my deck looks like this, to be honest. Like I have no idea what anybody is doing. So I want to kind of just have a little bit of game into like all of them just to see where we end up, right? And I'm sure after today my list will be totally different. But this is kind of just like my day one. I've seen like a lot of like new decks. I mean, not necessarily new, because I know a lot of people like, oh, they're repackaging the deck, right?
Yeah.
But I think, for example, like Green Purple getting that go-go actually makes the deck completely different in how you have to play against it. Because before, like, you know, if you put damage on things, you can't really get punished, right? But now there's like that go-go bounce go-go play. Like if you have like an Elsa with 4 damage, you just take like 8. So I think that type of thing like is a little bit more scary, especially I would say like a go-go deck. If I had to make a prediction that's not red-purple, it's probably some kind of go-go deck I think will do very well today because of just like how much, you know, burst power that it has.
I've seen there's a few Amethyst Steel players out there as well. Definitely a deck I'm interested in seeing how that can perform. I think overall the meta's looking quite open, but you can still expect those decks which we're used to doing very well continue to be popular. Things like Ruby Sapphire, Emerald Steel with Diablo as well. And there's quite a lot of debate going on at the moment, Ed, about Diablo and how some players are maybe calling for it to be banned. Do you have an opinion on Diablo?
So I don't know if you've seen like Chris play against Inkerbell during our ICL match. And she was playing red-blue, right? And I think there are actually, like, a lot of people are memeing like all these like crazy answers, but I think there are actually some clean answers to Diablo now, especially with like Maui Half Shark, for example, because like the deck actually doesn't run, like Emerald Steel doesn't generally run like Zeus, right? And the only way to really kill it is Bruno.
Yep.
And if you're not able to get there, this shark will basically like brick your entire board until they can catch up and win the game. So I think there are actually quite a bit of answers now to Diablo, and yes, it's like very unfair if they get to do like, you know, the turn 2 shift Diablo with a Cove,
yeah.
right? And people really don't like that. But even in this deck, like, you have some answers with like Dragonfire and Medusa, and obviously it's like much later, but it's still like possible to kind of get yourself out of those positions. I think a lot of people just remember the times where they get high rolled, and that's why like they want to call for bannings, because it's like, oh, I want to play a fair game. Right, like I know a lot of people that play like, you know, set 3 Ruby Amethyst. They love playing like fair games, and you know, you take turns, and like, you know, I'm sure the people that are calling for the banning usually are like wanting to play these kind of like discard, like don't let your opponent play the game style decks. So me personally, I think it's okay. Like I would probably like, if you get it banned, then it's like, where does the meta end up, right? It's probably going to be some kind of Sapphire deck, right, with like Hiram. Because like, should we ban Hiram then? Because that card is like draws a lot of cards too, right? So I think it gets to be kind of a dicey situation once you ban one card, because there'll definitely be like implications of like other cards that will become too powerful because of it.
I think it's really good that we've had so few cards really in Lorcana that have ever been called to be banned, and I think obviously Bucky got hit, but it seems like Diablo is still performing perhaps better than people expected. I think the Hidden Cove's a big part of that as well. Hidden Cove proving to be a lot stronger than it first looked, just costing 1 to move there, big stats. We're seeing people actually start playing like more copies of it. We saw like Zan Syed in the EU versus NA tournament, he's got 4 copies of the Hidden Cove in Emerald Steel, for example. So it's definitely interesting.
It's definitely like the most degenerate like turn 2 thing you do, right? Cove with Diablo, like you're definitely drawing at least like, you know, 2 or 3, 4 cards off of that, and if it goes unanswered, you basically lose the game. And I think that's the issue that most people like don't want to run into. It's like these unanswered cards that just like run away with the game, right? Like Diablo, Beast, and to some extent like Prince John, right? And Hiram, right? So it's kind of like, you know, if you don't run the answers, then of course you're not going to be able to deal with them, and you just outright lose the game. So
I think overall we can just hope to see in the next set a few more answers for Diablo. I think Diablo Cove in particular, it will be nice to see a few more efficient answers. That we saw Gazelle perform quite well for Artabax, the new Emerald card, which
scary
maybe
card.
Is something there.
Especially like if you have like a bonsai, right? And it's like you can still like hit the Diablo Cove, right? If you're able to. So yeah, that was a good game that, you know, shows that, you know, it's possible for green purple, because historically like green purple is unfavored against green steel, but you can definitely like go under if you need to, and there's definitely some more answers to Diablo if you need them.
And speaking of NA versus EU, what's going on, Ed? It's 6-2 to EU at the moment.
I'm just watching, you know. I'm just
you're a sub, right?
I'm a
like
sub,
me.
So I'm just spectating.
Yeah.
And I think the hard thing is actually like you could be more strategic with your subs in terms of you should pick the best player that can play all the decks.
Yeah.
Right? Because like they made the rule where it's like you have to play the deck of whoever you're subbing for. It's like, what if you've never played the deck? Yeah. You're in a really tough spot. So like luckily for you, right? You're able to.
I said to Moyen, I was like, dude, just submit what you want, and he didn't trust me on anything apart from Purple Steel, I think.
You're good. You just happen to be subbing for the deck that you can pilot the best. So. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I watched all the games, and I mean, no excuses, but like, you know, I think right now this format in particular is very die roll dependent, right? Like, I don't know, like I've seen some crazy statistics where people are like, oh, it's 80 to 90% win on the play.
Wow.
Right? Like, it's actually insane, right? And like being able to take a game off your opponent on the play is like very, very hard to do. Because there's so many good proactive strategies in this like format right now. Like everyone just goes way too fast, and then now you have like some additional like new cards that kind of close. Like purple has like, you know, White Rose, and then green now has like that go-go, right? So I think being proactive right now is very strong, and I think people are still trying to crack like how do you win on the draw against these type of cards. And I think for now people haven't figured it out yet, but you know, we'll see what happens as the meta develops.
And it is a big month in terms of, well, big few months in terms of meta, because we've got the European Championships in Paris in 2 weeks now. And then, of course, at the start of 2025, we've got the North American as well. Have you got any plans on traveling to Paris for The last chance qualifiers.
Not
It's
me
a long,
personally.
Long
yeah.
journey.
It's a long journey. I mean, to me, right now, for me, it's like too much of a gamble. I feel like I feel like the meta is still like too wide open for me to confidently be like, oh, I'm just gonna jump on a plane and go play, like try to go 5-0, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is best of 3, right? So I guess that has that going for it. Like, you know, you can try to edge it out. Would
you prefer a best of 3 or 2-game format? What's your opinion on that? Because as you mentioned, with it being a die roll heavy format, I have to say when I played against Dale in the NAEU, when I won the die roll, I was like, oh, nice. Okay, that's a big deal.
Definitely.
And personally, I much prefer eliminating that from it entirely. I know there's then some debate that maybe there's too many draws.
Yeah.
But personally, as both a player and spectator, I'm big on the 2-game format. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I personally also like 2-game format just because of like the die roll thing is just too egregious. Like you could just literally win the tournament by just die rolling your way up, right? And I think there is some, like you should be rewarded, like, you know, in a top cut scenario where it is best of 3, because usually if you're like, you know, finished well and you like take the gamble to like play those last few games instead of doing the intentional draw, I think you should definitely be rewarded for that. So I think it makes sense the way they kind of have it right now. 2-game format with like top cut being best of 3, like first seed gets to go first.
I think like one thing that gets overlooked quite a lot about the 2-game format is how there's no reason to play slowly. Like the worst thing as a caster is just, I could just imagine watching like game 2 and one player is just playing incredibly slowly because they won game 1. With the 2-game format, there's no like slow play or anything like that to worry about.
Everyone is punished for playing slowly, so don't play slowly,
Okay, well, I guess I'll let you get a break because I imagine the next round's not too far away. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
you
you
also
for
have a
having me.
YouTube channel as well, right?
Yes. I haven't been uploading recently. I mean, the last thing I talked to Kendall, like, you know, started set 6, but I'm mostly, like trying to like cook up decks because right now, it's very difficult right now, I would say. Like, you know, we don't have that much kind of online play. I don't know how much we're supposed to talk about that here, but yeah, the online play is very limited. But like everyone's still trying to figure it out, and so am I, right? Like I'm just like everyone's trying to figure out what the best thing to do is, and like I don't feel that confident reporting on something that I'm not confident in, right? So usually I try to put out videos like as soon as I find something that I think is worth kind of discussing and talking about.
Awesome. And if people want to, we'll get a link in. What is the YouTube channel name?
So you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Ed Lorcana.
Okay, easy. At Ed Lorcana.
Yeah.
That's good branding. Mine's all over the place. I'm one thing here, one thing there, but you got it.
Easy to centralize that way, yeah.
All right, well, so you won your first round as well?
Yeah.
What did you play against round 1?
Round 1 was the mirror, Ruby Amethyst mirror. So I feel pretty good into those. So
you're 4 wins, 0 losses. So
yeah, so far, yeah. I'm trying to keep it going.
Long may it continue.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Welcome to Games of Berkeley, the oldest game store on the West Coast. Games of Berkeley is a welcoming community space where anybody can come in and play games. We have 3 premium game rooms and 2 separate tournament spaces. Games of Berkeley has an awesome game library that you can come and play anytime. We have so many games in the game library. We've got puzzles, and puzzles with local art. We've got paints and wargaming. In 2024, we won Best of the East Bay for Best Gift Shop and Best Game Store. Here at Games of Berkeley, every night is game night. Monday night, we have 3 different things going on with Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, and Kit Bash and Paint Night. Tuesdays, we have board game night. Wednesday is RPG night. Thursday, we have trading card game tournaments and casual play. Friday, we have Magic the Gathering Commander Night. Saturdays and Sundays, we host all kinds of special events. We are located at 2510 Durant Avenue at Telegraph in Berkeley, California. Games of Berkeley is open from noon to 9 p.m. every day but Sunday when we close at 7 p.m.
My name's Robert, and welcome to NorCal TCG. My name's Robert DeCambra. We're at NorCal TCG, located in Martinez, California. I've been a TCG player for 30 plus years. The first card game I ever played was Magic the Gathering. Sitting around a kitchen table with my family, just shuffling up cards and playing and having fun. It was always my dream to have a shop of my own where I could build a community for players where they felt safe and invited, and they could have as much fun as I've had over the years playing different card games. NorCal TCG opened in 2022. My uncle opened a shop when I was a teenager and gave me the dream to one day follow in his footsteps. And here I am now, the owner of NorCal TCG. We've grown a lot over the last 2 years. Our local playgroups have grown and expanded. On Mondays, we host Flesh and Blood Armory. On Tuesdays, we have our Pokemon League. On Wednesdays, we have Grand Archive. On Thursdays, we have Weiss Schwartz and Cardfight Vanguard. And on Fridays, we host One Piece and Magic the Gathering Commander. On Saturdays, we host One Piece and Lorcana. On Sundays, we host Grand Archive and One Piece.
Hi, my name is BJ Wooden.
Hey everybody, it's Dave, and welcome to Retro Edge Games.
What is Retro Edge doing that gives it that retro edge? We have a retro feel to this place, from the fighting games that's next to another person that's pushing buttons instead of online, to the classic anime that's on the TV, to actually playing games with old-fashioned shiny cardboard. It's a little bit of an old school feel in here, but there's also an edge. It's nice, clean technology. It's well lit. It feels nice. And our attitude is a little edgy. Not mean, just edgy.
So we're a new store and we're new here from Vallejo, but we've been seeing amazing support from our community. We at Retro Edge Games built this place to basically help support creating a third place for everyone so they can basically have a place outside of work and home to come and enjoy themselves, meet new friends, and kind of just have a place to decompress.
As soon as we did this, I knew the first thing we had to do was have a tournament standard arcade. I've been a fighting game competitor since 2001, so it was important to me to build a really great state-of-the-art tournament standard fighting game community arcade.
On Wednesday nights, we have Tabletop Magic, and we do Dungeons & Dragons every other Wednesday with our DM, Patrick. Thursdays, we do One Piece League, which has been really popping. Fridays, we host Open Play Commander Night for Magic the Gathering, and then we also have Grand Archive League. Saturday, we do fighting game tournaments. We start the first Saturday of the month with Super Smash Brothers, and then Tekken 8's the second Saturday of the month, and then the third Saturday of the month, we do Street Fighter 6. And then fourth Saturday of the month, we do a retro game. We close off the week with Sundays, where we do Magic the Gathering Draft at 3 p.m. and we do Lorcana League at 5 p.m. Just a couple weeks in, we're being a Lorcana store, and I cannot be more excited about it. Our Lorcana League here at Retro Edge Games are some of the greatest people that come to our store. You can find the sign-ups for it on melee.gg. We have a great community, great prizes, and we're just getting started.
Come check us out and come and pick up that latest, juiciest set, the Azurite Seas, baby. Let's go! How are you excited about Gadget? I'm excited about the Rescue Rangers. Let's do it.
We've been around for the last 5 months, and we're looking to be a staple here in Vallejo, and we look forward to you guys coming by and checking this out.
Oh man, I've talked enough. Again, I'm BJ from Retro Edge Games. Good luck in the Battle of the Bay. Come see us on Sundays, man. That's all I gotta say. Peace.
NorCal TCG is located on Pine Street in Martinez. NorCal TCG is a hobby store specializing in trading card games, board games, collectibles, and more. Games of Berkeley is located on Durant Avenue in Berkeley. Games of Berkeley is a wall-to-wall game shop with board games, puzzles, playing cards, and a whole lot more. Retro Edge Games, located at 2085 Solano Avenue in Vallejo, the place where you can go unwind, socialize, and enjoy a sense of belonging, hosting arcade events most weekends as well as TCG and collectibles. The Launchpad is located at 712 West Lodi Avenue in Lodi, is a League Championship Series and friendly local game store, carrying board games, comic books for all ages. Level up your real estate game and ask for Jesbian at Red Oak Realty. Take Refuge Studios, Lorcana content created by LGBTQ nerds that are new to TCG games. Wanderlost. Handmade leather gaming accessories that add a beautifully immersive experience to your gaming table. Green Potion Games, located at 1271 North Davis Road in Salinas, a local game store that specializes in Lorcana, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They have events for every game throughout the week. Wyatt Team. Let the Wyatt Team help you make the next move in your home financing game, because when it comes to your mortgage, you deserve a game master on your side. Sword and Board Games, located on 41st Avenue in the Capitola Mall, seeks to create fun and safe environment to nurture the premier board, card, and miniature, including role-playing games, here in the Santa Cruz County. Anime Imports, located in Pacifica on Manor Drive, features card games as well as comic books, toys, and miniatures. Destine Fantasy Games, located at 650 Central Avenue in Alameda, local toy and tabletop game store where you can find all of your TCG product, including cards, singles, and more. Gold Star Collectibles in Sacramento, located on 2440 Fulton Avenue, your one-stop shop for all your card game needs in Sacramento. This stream is brought to you by Inertia Pictures. If you need a camera solution to give a unique look to your production, we have the resources to fit your need. Game Fortress, located on Grant Avenue in Novato, a local game store that hosts weekly events and a game area for you to try out new games from our free library. DVY Collectibles, located at 1150 Arnold Drive in Martinez. They have everything from sports cards, Pokemon, memorabilia supplies, and more.
All right, looks like we're ready for round number 3. Welcome back, everybody. Especially here, I got myself some coffee. This is the Battle of the Bay here in California. So the Bay Area, San Francisco, one city, but there's many other smaller cities. Oakland. We're in Berkeley right now, just across the water from San Francisco. Really awesome community. We've got over 128 players here, which means it's going to be 8 rounds of Swiss. This is about to be round 3. We'll get all the information to you as soon as possible over who's playing and what deck lists we can expect to see. Yeah, of course, set 6 came out just a week ago. So, big opportunity for many of these players to experiment with these cards for the first time on a big stage. Lots of eyes from the international Lorcana community going to be on this one, with it being a set 6 tournament in particular. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, we have the Disney Lorcana Challenge European Championships in Paris, which I'll be attending as a commentator. And then in around a month's time, just over a month, in January, there's going to be the North American regionals as well. So a lot of these players looking to get in as much practice as possible ahead of that. I do believe that the North American regionals is at Disneyland in California, so not too far away for these players to travel, and therefore I'd expect quite a lot of them to be making the journey over for that event. Of course, there's players that have already qualified, like Ed that was just with us. He's already qualified for that. But there is last chance qualifiers at both of those events. Hope everyone's good in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the action here. Let us know who you think is going to be taking it down. We'll get the deck lists for you as soon as possible. We're here at the Battle of the Bay in California. Like I said, it's been raining since I got here. Tomorrow we're going to be going to a local game store, and I'm going to be getting to play some Lorcana of my own. It's also going to be a lunch break after this round, so we'll see if maybe we can get a little show match going. I'll see if I can sneak in a game. I'm always looking for an excuse to play. It's going to be a high roll to see who's going first. It's like a tie to begin with. It is the 2-game format, remember, of course, so each player is going to go first once, each player will go second once. If you guys have got any questions about the event, I can see you in chat, so let us know. Dale's in the building as well. Great to see you, Dale. Hope you're well, mate. Alexander rooting for Brent. You guys know the names of the players before even I do. Let's go. Yeah, we've also got a nice projector in the building where people can watch the games. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a very exciting day. I'm excited because I am spying. I want to be careful not to shout too loudly, but I am spying some Ruby Amber locations. It's actually a deck I've got with me, and interestingly there's a copy of Voyage in there as well. Voyage, a new 1-cost card. Well, it's actually not a new card. It's actually quite an old card. If there's some Wild Blurp or Yokai Chromicon recycled deck, put it on stream. We're going to be focusing on trying to get some spicy decks on stream. Absolutely. What do you think the chances are Spacey would give a shout out to my cat, Osita? Very slim. Hello, Osita. Oh, it just happened. All right, so it's going to be your welcome inked, and in comes the 1-cost Pegasus, of course, an evasive card. It was Training Grounds inked on turn 1. And in comes the Sugar Rush Speedway start line. So all kinds of new cards we're going to be seeing from this Ruby Amber location deck. There's a new location, the Finish Line, which is kind of the new centerpiece card of this deck. It's going to be Clarabelle inked. And in comes 1-cost Clarabelle and another Pegasus, a bit of a Shin Miri line to start things off. This Pegasus is, of course, ready to quest, but it also could challenge the start line, which has 5 willpower, but it is going to be a quest for 1 with Pegasus. Just trying to find out the player names for you. Of course, with this not being my usual area I'm casting, I'm not super familiar with all of them. I definitely recognize the faces. And that is going to be the Sugar Rush Speedway start line and finish line now on the board here. Now, the finish line, if you can move a character there from another location, you banish it and draw 3 cards and gain 3 lore. So the finish line, you need to move a character from one location to this location to gain 3 lore and draw 3 cards. But we're now going to start seeing some of these locations challenge. Clarabelle's going to challenge the start line for 1, and it's going to be the Fox then rushing in, polishing it off with another 4, and it's going to be Pegasus questing for 1 each, 3 lore to nothing, and that start line has been removed from the board. But the finish line is still remaining. Voyage will be inked, and then it's going to be the Sisu onto the board. Now, I've been playing this start line, finish line deck quite a bit myself. And when it gets going, it really does get going, but it can be quite inconsistent and difficult to get the combo pieces going off. And if you get shut down, you can end up in a position where you have basically no cards left in hand. Rapunzel definitely gives you a nice way of drawing with Ruby Amber, as does the finish line. But I've had a lot of experiences where the deck just doesn't get either of those through early on, and you just run out of cards very quickly. So it's going to be a concern for the Ruby Amber player, as the finish line has now got 4 more damage on it. Those Pegasus questing for 1 again. 5 lore to nothing. Ruby Amber, 3 ink available right now. Of course, that Fox with 4 strength. Not going to give that Rapunzel an opportunity to heal it back up. It is the 2-game format. Each player will have an opportunity to go first. Rapunzel into the ink. And for 3 ink, it's going to be a new card. Now, this could have been sung. This is the Island I Pulled from the Sea. Not a card I've been playing, but we are about to see something really spicy. It's a 3-cost uninkable song. You can search your deck for a location card of your choice. And it's going to be the Sugar Rush Speedway start line. Sisu moves there for free, and now Sisu can be exerted. 1 damage dealt to it to move it to another location. It moves from the start line to the finish line, and 3 lore is gained and 3 cards are drawn. And it moves back to the Sugar Rush Speedway starting line. That is the combo potential of this deck. But using the islands I pulled from the sea to set that up was really nicely done. So it was that 3-cost uninkable action that allowed them to search their deck for a location and add it to hand. And then that location was played. The start line was used to move to the finish line, which gained the 3 lore and drew 3 cards. Double Banzai down on the board though, and it's a double quest with Pegasus as well as the rabbit, and it's 8 lore to 3. But that Sugar Rush Speedway starting line still on the board, and now an abundance of cards to work with. I'm even seeing a Be Prepared in the mix there. Also look out for the Minnie Mouse. But bear in mind, the start line can only exert a character which is already dry. You cannot exert a character which has just been played. You have to still wait that normal turn that you would. So the start line into finish line not representing a threat right now without a dry character on the board. This Ruby Amber Locations deck, one I'm really interested in. I've actually got it with me myself. Just find it to be a little bit inconsistent at the moment, but seeing that island pulled from the sea, giving it that little bit of extra consistency for sure. But so far, a dominant position for Emerald and Amethyst. Those evasive Pegasus putting in some questing power, and that double Banzai now, questing for 2 each a turn. Ruby Amber needing to get a bit of board control up in this game. Something like a Maui could start to do that. Four ink right now, but can ink to go to 5. That Minnie Mouse card that you can see in hand is whenever you ink, you can add a location from your discard to hand. It's going to be Maui time. Maui also moving into the Sugar Rush Speedway starting line for free, because why not? Double Banzai, double Pegasus on the board for Emerald Amethyst. Of course, they drew for the rabbit being banished and they draw for turn. There are 8 lore currently, 12 away. Currently can quest for 6. You definitely expect things like goats to be in the deck. You can see Pegasus in hand as well. The Ruby Amber Location deck, one I'm really fascinated about, the Sugar Rush Speedway finish line. One of the most unique cards now we have in Disney Lorcana. Incredible potential. I've really struggled with it in testing these last few days, though, I have to say. When it works spectacularly. But there's definitely some games that can struggle, particularly going second. It is going to be Pegasus trading with Maui with help of the crab. The crab giving that extra strength to Pegasus to take down Maui. Of course, those 2 Banzais and that Pegasus ready to go on some questing, but could, of course, challenge the Sugar Rush Speedway start line. It's another Pegasus for 1. That's 4 ink spent, 3 on the crab, 1 on the Pegasus. And it is going to be a triple quest for a total of 5, up to 13. Of course, they could have quested up to 14 this turn, but instead decided to take that Pegasus trade with Maui instead of questing for that 1 extra lore. 13 lore to 3 as it stands. It looks like it might be time for Minnie Mouse. Now remember, you cannot exert a character and deal damage with them with the Sugar Rush Speedway start line unless they've already been down on the board for a turn. So when you ink with Minnie Mouse, you're able to add a location from your discard to your hand. So the ink comes through and it is the Sugar Rush Speedway finish line added. Now you might think you can play the finish line down for 2, move Mini in and exert it, but I don't believe that is the case, because I believe Mini has to dry first before it can be exerted. So it does move into the start line, but it is not able to be exerted because of the fact that it's drying. Otherwise, that would have been another 3 lore and another 3 cards drawn for our Ruby Amber location player. But it's a big old board. They're currently at 13. They can quest for 1 to 14 with the crab. The Banzais for 2 each, 16, 18, 19, 20 with the Pegasus. It is going to be the game for Emerald Amethyst. We saw the Ruby Amber location player get that combo off once. We saw Maui clearing the board, but it just wasn't enough. Too much questing power. Those Pegasus to start the shows in many ways. I do believe Emerald Amethyst went first in that one though, so it's now going to be time to see if Ruby Amber locations can do the business in game number 2. Great to have so many people in the building. I'm here in California. I've almost adapted. I'm going to say I've almost adapted to the jet lag and the time zone. That is complete nonsense. I was asleep at 5 p.m. last night, and I woke up at about 4 a.m. I have fully not adapted, but that meant I got a very good night's sleep. So it's game number 2. You can see some pretty interesting cards in the Ruby Amber location deck. Be Prepared is in there. The islands I pulled from the sea to give it that little bit of consistency is going to be nice. Definitely expect to see Rapunzels and Mother Gothels and the kind of things you expect to see in normal Ruby Amber decks. Great to see so many people in the chat. We've got the Swedish Arctic Fox themselves. Magnus, what's up? My Swedish co-caster. How I long for you to be sat next to me right now, Magnus. Magnus just carried me through a whole weekend in Malmo. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying my time in California. I will admit, the rain is a shame, but it's also quite an experience. I got an alert on my phone yesterday, alerting me to the potential of flash floods in San Francisco. I got to wander around and get absolutely soaked. Here we go, game number 2. It is, of course, the 2-game format. We are going to have a lunch break after this round as well. But then we're going to have 5 more rounds of Swiss after the lunch break, as well as a top cut. So all sorts of Lorcana action to look forward to this Saturday at the Battle of the Bay. It's Mother Gothel into the ink, and it is going to be that Sugar Rush Speedway starting line onto the board. It's got 5 willpower. It gains no lore, but it costs nothing to move there. And once per turn, you can exert a character that's here, dealing 1 damage to them to move them to another location for free. So the combo is you move something to the start line, and then from the start line, you move it to the finish line, gaining you a whole bunch of lore. This is the 2-cost Milan onto the board. Not something you see that often. It's got a 1-3 stat line, I believe, and whenever you play an action, it gains 2 strength. So definitely look out for this Mulan, plus the Shift Mulan. But now with that Sugar Rush Speedway starting line and a character on the board, the next turn, if the finish line could come down, Mulan could move to the start line for free. 2 damage could be dealt to her, moving to the finish line for a bunch of lore and a bunch of card draw. So Merfolk and Banzai down for the Emerald Amethyst players. Merfolk's going to quest for 2. Lorcana Villain gave you a shout out. Let's go. Big up to Baker. It's going to be the Merfolk questing for 2 for the first lore of the day. It's going to be a card inked. I actually missed what that was. No Sugar Rush Speedway finish line in hand here. Also looks like no copy of the island I pulled from the sea. And this is definitely something I've struggled with this deck myself. You can just have these hands where things become a little bit awkward. Mulan is going to challenge the Merfolk, discarding the starting line. And it's going to be Teeth and Ambitions, 2 damage dealt to Mulan, 2 damage dealt to polish off the Banzai. Something like a Rapunzel then could come through and heal the Milan next turn to draw some cards. But these are the hand states I find myself in quite often with Ruby Amber locations. Not many cards, and you really need either the finish line to come through or the Rapunzel to come through to open up your hand and give yourself some more options to work with. It's going to be Banzai down for 2. Ursa's going to be inked, 1 ink spare, and it's not going to be used though. It is going to be Sisu down on the board. Sisu, Mulan not questing, but of course getting close to that 5 ink mark where that Mulan can shift in and deal with multiple threats at once. Queen's Castle, Crab, Friendly on the other side, Goat, and perhaps a Genie tucked away at the back there. It's going to be the Queen's Castle into the inkwell. Down comes the Genie, drawing a card for its trouble. Genie does quest for 2, but very heads up play not to quest with the Banzai. The threat of that Mulan shift is very clear. It is going to be Fix It Felix Jr. I think it's a 3-cost card, which allows you to draw a card if you have a location. It's actually a 2-cost card, and a second comes in. Pegasus Inked, the Ruby Pegasus. So Fix It Felix Jr. is when you have a location in play. You can draw a card when you play this. Really good option to have in these all-out location decks, just to give you some more characters on the board and try and dig and find that Sugar Rush Speedway finish line, which is the all-important card right now with the start line on the board. 2 lore each as it stands. The Crab's going to come through, and the Genie, now 5 strength Genie, takes out that Sugar Rush Speedway starting line. No locations left on the board here for Ruby Amber. 3 ink spent on the Crab, still ink to spare. Ursula's going to be inked. Banzai's going to quest for 2. And it's back on over. It is going to be the Milan that comes through, and it's going to completely clear the board. Milan dealing with 3 characters in a single swoop, including that evasive Genie. The Banzai quest absolutely punished. Milan, when it comes through, it shifts in, it has extra strength. And when it challenges 1 character, you can deal that same amount of damage to 2 other characters. Banzai's dealt with, so is the Genie, and so is the Crab. And suddenly, Ruby Amber has the complete board. What a play that was from our Ruby Amber location player. Okay, it's going to be the Go-Go Tamago, 2 ink spent on that, but, oh my goodness, spending an extra 2 ink on Go-Go Tamago to gain 5 lore. What a set of turns we've got here. Go-Go Tamago, this new set 6 card. It costs 2 to play, but you can spend 2 extra ink to gain lore equal to the damage on an opposing character. There's 5 damage on that Mulan. So Go-Go Tamago, it costs 4 to play it, but it gained 5 lore. Of course, the potential of bouncing that card back. But Rapunzel, she lets down her hair, and she heals the Milan for 3, allowing 3 cards drawn as well. And as soon as you start getting these things through like Rapunzel, this Ruby Amber deck can really turn into a menace. It's going to be questing for 2 with the Fix It Felix, another 2 for Sisu, that's 4. Milan also questing for 2, up to 12. Threatening to win if left uncontested. Go-Go Tamago staring down the barrel of a very wide board from Ruby Amber here. Crab is going to give Go-Go Tamago that extra strength, and it is going to trade with the Milan. Needs must, because that board would be questing for 20 otherwise. They need 8 lore. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lore is being threatened by Ruby Amber right now. The goat comes through. So some sort of shift Sisu, shift Milan would be enough for Ruby Amber to take it. It is just going to be a quest of everything. I believe that's up to 19. Is there any way of gaining that instant lore? It's going to be a Minnie Mouse. Tuck's going to be inked, and when inked, it's going to allow them to get a location from the discard into hand. And it looks like they're going to play it down on the board instantly. And a Sisu just for good measure. That is a very, very wide board. It's going to be a Murpho. I don't think that's going to stop the board. That is going to be a 1-1. What a game, though. That Mulan was the difference maker. The Mulan shift cleaning up 3 threats at once. That Genie evasive was dealt with very, very well indeed by that Milan play. And you see Ruby Amber locations, a very, very interesting setup, that Milan giving it a bit of board control. But you can see how inconsistent it can be at times. That Sugar Rush Speedway finish line, when it works, oh boy, it works well. But my experience with the deck is it can be pretty difficult to set up. I've played a lot of it over the last couple of days since I've been here in California, and I'm not sure I won a single game with it, honestly. It can be really quite inconsistent at times. But yeah, that was round number 2. I think I'm checking my Discord here. I did get the names of the players. Ducky and Brian here. So I'm looking at the Speedway list. It's definitely an interesting setup. Couple copies of Islands I pulled from the sea. Fix-It Felix Jr. is in there. There's no Shift Fix-It Felix. No Super Goofs, but it does have 3 copies of Tafita Mutton Fudge, which when it moves to a location, you can gain 2 lore the first time each turn. Voyage is in there as a very interesting option. Voyage is move up to 2 characters of yours to a location for free. Still has the Mother Gothel Rapunzel, still has the Maui, no Jim Hawkins in there. And a total of just 11 locations in the mix. Yep, we're here at the Battle of the Bay in California in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm Joe Spacey Curley. Got to visit Pixar Studios the other day. That was pretty cool. We are going to be having a lunch break pretty soon as well. It is the only break of the day. This was the 3rd round of Swiss. Total of 8 rounds, then going into a top 8 cut. I believe it's the top 8, where the top 8 or the top cut will be open deck lists. So definitely a different dynamic, having the closed deck list first and the open deck list. Let us know if you guys have got any questions about us. They don't play the RLS Legacy in that list. No, they do not. No sign of the RLS. Training Grounds, Sugar Rush Speedway start line, finish line are the locations of choice in that list. It's definitely quite different to mine. Yeah, 4 of the Sugar Rush Speedway start line, finish line, and then 3 Training Grounds, which is definitely an unorthodox way of going about it. Pretty excited to see that in action again. So, yep, that was round number 3. Okay. We're going to have a little interview here with one of the players there from that. So they're going to come on over and we'll chat to them about their deck list and about the tournament and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, big shout out to the organisers. This is an event which is being done for no profit. It's just run by the community for the community. There's a bunch of different stores being represented here. In the Bay Area, there is a bunch of different stores and lots of different players all coming together, having some fun with it. There's some vendors, there's lots of cool prizes, and all that sort of thing up for grabs as well. Hope everyone's enjoying the action. We are live here on Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube rather, don't forget to give the stream a like. It does help out. I hope you guys are looking forward to set 6. There's lots of set 6 content coming on my channel. We've of course got the NA versus EU tournament going on at the moment as well, which is happening. I think we're just going into round 2 of that tournament now. After the first round, 6 wins for EU, only 2 for NA. Oof. Oof. But if you guys have got any questions for the players, do let us know for sure. We're going to come and have a chat with them. Hello.
Thanks, Jesse.
How's it going? Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Ducky. Nice to meet you all.
Oh, hi, I'm Ducky. Nice to meet you all.
Hey, Ducky. So, Ducky, you're playing Ruby Amber Locations.
Yeah, just beaming it up today.
Let's go. How are you feeling about the deck?
So...
Probably need to move it a bit closer.
Okay, yeah. So, against purple, it's a little rough. And I've played against purple twice. But also, I've missed my 2-drop both my games. So like especially on the draw. So it's not the most consistent deck, I would say, but it is a lot of fun. And when it hums, it really hums.
For real.
Yeah.
It's a deck I've actually got with me as well. I've been playing it. And it feels like if you don't get the either Rapunzel through or the finish line through, you can run out of cards quite quickly.
Yes.
So we saw that you're playing Islands. I pulled from the sea maybe to make that a bit more consistent.
I don't think that you want more than 2 because it can actually be pretty bricky because you don't have a lot of good singers for it.
Yep.
And then I think that like one of the things I might change is I might up the number of 2-drops in this deck again because I was actually finding myself bricking quite a bit and not seeing a 2-drop early. So
we saw the Mulan come through and put in some serious work though. That was quite devastating.
I think I got pretty lucky there. My opponent didn't respect the shift Mulan or just didn't expect it to come down, and it just showed them the business.
Yeah, it was really nicely done. So that was your 3rd round, right?
Yes, this is my 3rd round.
How do your first couple rounds go?
So my opponent didn't show up round 1, and then I went 1-1 against green purple again.
Okay.
But I also missed my 2-drop in on the draw in that matchup as well too. But I got to Speedway 5 times in a row.
Oh, wow.
In game 2. So I don't know. You know, you live by the Speedway, die by the Speedway.
Yeah.
Right?
What is it about this deck that you're enjoying so much?
It has my 3 favorite words. Draw a card.
Nice.
So I mean, like I love drawing cards. It like Rapunzel says draw 3. Speedway says draw 3, and you're just churning through the deck super duper quickly, and you'll find all your pieces eventually. And also like this deck is extremely uninteractable, so it's really hard for your opponents to be able to disrupt your combo, especially when you have like a mini in hand, and that's like really difficult to disrupt.
Is there like with this deck? How have you found it when it goes second? Because my concern with it is when it goes first, it can feel pretty great, but I've struggled to get those wins going second. How do you feel about going second with this deck?
So it can be tough going second, but that's one of the reasons why we're playing the Mulan package.
Yep.
The Mulan package, the Mauis, you're really trying to respect going second, and that's why we're on Teeth instead of Brawls. Because if you play Brawl, a lot of times you can't hit stuff like Bonsai, like you saw in the match. You can't hit a lot of those like really like key cards that kill your locations. So like that's one of the things that we've sort of like thought about. Really Mulan and B-Prep are really important in going second, and you're basically trying to race through one of those 2 like board wipes to sort of like clear that board. And you're using your locations as sort of like meat shields to sort of shield yourself from being able to take hits, and you're playing more of a slightly controlling game.
Awesome. And it's really cool to see Voyage in there as well. 3 copies of Voyage. You can move up to 2 characters of yours to the same location for free. You've got Tuck as a way of moving to locations, as well as, but no Jim Hawkins.
Yes. So the Voyage and the Tuk are really important to being able to. So let's say you don't have a board, like you've just like B-prepped or whatever. You can go like Speedway, play a character, and then Voyage onto it on the same turn, and you don't have to wait till the ink dries. It lets you combo while still like just by having like stuff in hand. With Jim Hawkins, you're gonna have trouble with like being able to like play the Jim Hawkins and then move on to the Speedway. That costs way too much ink.
Yep.
It's very ink. It's more of a win more effect if you think about it. Whereas like Voyage can let you come back from behind.
Yep. And how's the Mini been performing? 4 copies of her in there.
Mini is insanely broken in this deck. Like you're popping your locations constantly, and your opponents are trying to get rid of your locations because that's the way that they have to interact with you. And you basically get to like gain multiple lore over the course of the game simply because they have to constantly run into your locations, and you can keep buying them back. And then when you have multiple minis, a lot of times you just buy back 2 halves of the combo, and then you're off to the races again.
And Training Grounds was your 3rd location of choice. No RLS Legacy, no things like Pride Lands or the Underworld, which are in Amber. Just Training Grounds simply because it costs 1, and it costs 1 to move there, or is there anything else going on there?
Yeah, so it costs 1. So the difference between this Neverland and the 100-acre island, I think. I believe.
Which is like a new 1-cost location in Amber.
Right. So we chose Training Grounds mostly because, 1, it's inkable. Because if you take a look, the uninkable count's actually extremely high already. It's sort of out of this world, and so you can't actually afford any more uninkables, especially since like B-Prep cuts into your uninkable slots and so on and so forth. We need a 1-drop because you need to be able to go 1-drop location into 2-drop Fix-It Felix so that you can set up for your Teeth plays. where it sits on the curve is extremely important. So that's why we're not playing stuff like Rapunzel's Tower as well too. We don't necessarily need RLS legacies simply because we're not trying to like ding people with the locations. We're trying to combo off with the locations, and keeping it nice and cheap and inkable is really, really important.
Awesome. Is there any decks which you think Ruby Amber will really struggle against?
Oh, anything purple.
Okay.
Basically anything purple. Steel is easier, I would say, but just in general, Madam Mim is a huge problem for the deck. Genie is a huge problem for this deck as well too.
Yeah.
Unless
you can take it out with Mulan, of course.
Yes,
Like
unless
we
you
saw
can,
in the last game.
unless you can take it out with Mulan. But the thing's like, if people are savvy, like I think that I will be able to get something like that off. I think it's mostly because I brought it in as a surprise and a gimmick. And I mean, let's be real. Like today, I can't let my memes be dreams.
Absolutely. Well, it's a deck I'm really excited to see and wish you the very best of luck. Any shout-outs you want to do?
Yeah, shout-outs to Luxury. Shout-outs to my buddy Monkey, who I'm on the same deck with. He's not doing as hot, mostly because he had to play real matches instead of getting a bye. Shout-outs to my teammates and everybody out there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah,
Enjoy your lunch,
absolutely.
and hopefully see you later.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, everyone. It is now lunch break, so we're not going to have another round for a little bit. So I imagine we're going to go on to a bit of a break. But then when we're back, it's 5 rounds of Swiss without a break, without another lunch break, and then also we're going to have a top cut as well. So lots of Lorcana action to look forward to. So we're going to roll to commercials pretty soon. And then when we're back.
Welcome to Games of Berkeley, the oldest game store on the West Coast. Games of Berkeley is a welcoming community space where anybody can come in and play games. We have 3 premium game rooms and 2 separate tournament spaces. Games of Berkeley has an awesome game library that you can come and play anytime. We have so many games in the game library. We've got puzzles, and puzzles with local art. We've got paints and wargaming. In 2024, we won Best of the East Bay for Best Gift Shop and Best Game Store. Here at Games of Berkeley, every night is game night. Monday night, we have 3 different things going on with Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, and Kit Bash and Paint Night. Tuesdays, we have board game night. Wednesday is RPG night. Thursday, we have trading card game tournaments and casual play. Friday, we have Magic the Gathering Commander night. Saturdays and Sundays, we host all kinds of special events. We are located at 2510 Durant Avenue at Telegraph in Berkeley, California. Games of Berkeley is open from noon to 9 p.m. every day but Sunday, when we close at 7 p.m.
My name's Robert, and welcome to NorCal TCG. My name's Robert DeCambra. We're at NorCal TCG, located in Martinez, California. I've been a TCG player for 30 plus years. The first card game I ever played was Magic the Gathering. Sitting around a kitchen table with my family, just shuffling up cards and playing and having fun. It was always my dream to have a shop of my own where I could build a community for players, where they felt safe and invited, and they could have as much fun as I've had over the years playing different card games. NorCal TCG opened in 2022. My uncle opened a shop when I was a teenager and gave me the dream to one day follow in his footsteps. And here I am now, the owner of NorCal TCG. We've grown a lot over the last 2 years. Our local playgroups have grown and expanded. On Mondays, we host Flesh and Blood Armory. On Tuesdays, we have our Pokemon League. On Wednesdays, we have Grand Archive. On Thursdays, we have Weiss Schwartz and Cardfight Vanguard. And on Fridays, we host One Piece and Magic the Gathering Commander. On Saturdays, we host One Piece and Lorcana. On Sundays, we host Grand Archive and One Piece.
Hi, my name is BJ Wooden.
Hey everybody, it's Dave, and welcome to Retro Edge Games.
What is Retro Edge doing that gives it that retro edge? We have a retro feel to this place, from the fighting games that's next to another person that's pushing buttons instead of online, to the classic anime that's on the TV, to actually playing games with old-fashioned shiny cardboard. It's a little bit of an old school feel in here, but there's also an edge. It's nice, clean technology. It's well lit. It feels nice. And our attitude is a little edgy. Not mean, just edgy.
So we're a new store and we're new here from Vallejo, but we've been seeing amazing support from our community. We at Retro Edge Games built this place to basically help support creating a third place for everyone, so they can basically have a place outside of work and home to come and enjoy themselves, meet new friends, and kind of just have a place to decompress.
As soon as we did this, I knew the first thing we had to do was have a tournament standard arcade. I've been a fighting game competitor since 2001, so it was important to me to build a really great state-of-the-art tournament standard fighting game community arcade.
On Wednesday nights, we have Tabletop Magic, and we do Dungeons and Dragons every other Wednesday with our DM, Patrick. Thursdays, we do One Piece League, which has been really popping. Fridays, we host Open Play Commander Night for Magic the Gathering, and then we also have Grand Archive League. Saturday, we do fighting game tournaments. We start the first Saturday of the month with Super Smash Brothers, and then Tekken 8's the second Saturday of the month, and then the third Saturday of the month, we do Street Fighter 6. And then fourth Saturday of the month, we do a retro game. We close off the week with Sundays, where we do Magic the Gathering Draft at 3 p.m. and we do Lorcana League at 5 p.m. Just a couple weeks in, we're being the Lorcana store, and I cannot be more excited about it. Our Lorcana League here at Retro Edge Games are some of the greatest people that come to our store. You can find the sign-ups for it on melee.gg. We have a great community, great prizes, and we're just getting started.
Come check us out and come and pick up that latest, juiciest set, the Azurite Seas, baby. Let's go! How are you excited about Gadget? I'm excited about the Rescue Rangers. Let's do it.
We've been around for the last 5 months, and we're looking to be a staple here in Vallejo, and we look forward to you guys coming by and checking this out.
Oh man, I've talked enough. Again, I'm BJ from Retro Edge Games. Good luck in the Battle of the Bay. Come see us on Sundays, man. That's all I gotta say. Peace.
NorCal TCG is located on Pine Street in Martinez. NorCal TCG is a hobby store specializing in trading card games, board games, collectibles, and more. Games of Berkeley is located on Durant Avenue in Berkeley. Games of Berkeley is a wall-to-wall game shop with board games, puzzles, playing cards, and a whole lot more. Retro Edge Games, located at 2085 Solano Avenue in Vallejo, the place where you can go unwind, socialize, and enjoy a sense of belonging. Hosting arcade events most weekends, as well as TCG and collectibles. The Launchpad is located at 712 West Lodi Avenue in Lodi. Is a League Championship Series and friendly local game store, carrying board games, comic books for all ages. Level up your real estate game and ask for Jesbian at Red Oak Realty. Take Refuge Studios, Lorcana content created by LGBTQ nerds that are new to TCG games. Wanderlust, handmade leather gaming accessories that add a beautifully immersive experience to your gaming table. Green Potion Games, located at 1271 North Davis Road in Salinas, a local game store that specializes in Lorcana, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They have events for every game throughout the week. Wyatt Team. Let the Wyatt Team help you make the next move in your home financing game, because when it comes to your mortgage, you deserve a game master on your side. Sword and Board Games, located on 41st Avenue in the Capitola Mall, seeks to create fun and safe environment to nurture the premier board, card, and miniature, including role-playing games, here in the Santa Cruz County. Anime Imports, located in Pacifica on Manor Drive, features card games as well as comic books, toys, and miniatures. Destine Fantasy Games, located at 650 Central Avenue in Alameda. Local toy and tabletop game store where you can find all of your TCG product, including cards, singles, and more. Gold Star Collectibles in Sacramento, located on 2440 Fulton Avenue. Your one-stop shop for all your card game needs in Sacramento. This stream is brought to you by Inertia Pictures. If you need a camera solution to give a unique look to your production, we have the resources to fit your need. Game Fortress, located on Grant Avenue in Novato. A local game store that hosts weekly events and a game area for you to try out new games from our free library. DVY Collectibles, located at 1150 Arnold Drive in Martinez. They have everything from sports cards, Pokemon, memorabilia supplies, and more.
Welcome to Games of Berkeley, the oldest game store on the West Coast. Games of Berkeley is a welcoming community space where anybody can come in and play games. We have 3 premium game rooms and 2 separate tournament spaces. Games of Berkeley has an awesome game library that you can come and play anytime. We have so many games in the game library. We've got puzzles and puzzles with local art. We've got paints and wargaming. In 2024, we won Best of the East Bay for Best Gift Shop and Best Game Store. Here at Games of Berkeley, every night is game night. Monday night, we have 3 different things going on with Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, and Kit Bash and Paint Night. Tuesdays, we have board game night. Wednesday is RPG night. Thursday, we have trading card game tournaments and casual play. Friday, we have Magic the Gathering Commander Night. Saturdays and Sundays, we host all kinds of special events. We are located at 2510 Durant Avenue at Telegraph in Berkeley, California. Games of Berkeley is open from noon to 9 p.m. every day but Sunday, when we close at 7 p.m.
My name's Robert, and welcome to NorCal TCG. My name's Robert DeCambra. We're at NorCal TCG, located in Martinez, California. I've been a TCG player for 30 plus years. The first card game I ever played was Magic the Gathering. Sitting around a kitchen table with my family, just shuffling up cards and playing and having fun. It was always my dream to have a shop of my own where I could build a community for players, where they felt safe and invited, and they could have as much fun as I've had over the years playing different card games. NorCal TCG opened in 2022. My uncle opened a shop when I was a teenager and gave me the dream to one day follow in his footsteps. And here I am now, the owner of NorCal TCG. We've grown a lot over the last 2 years. Our local playgroups have grown and expanded. On Mondays, we host Flesh and Blood Armory. On Tuesdays, we have our Pokemon League. On Wednesdays, we have Grand Archive. On Thursdays, we have Weiss Schwartz and Cardfight Vanguard. And on Fridays, we host One Piece and Magic the Gathering Commander. On Saturdays, we host One Piece and Lorcana. On Sundays, we host Grand Archive and One Piece.
Hi, my name is BJ Wooden.
Hey everybody, it's Dave, and welcome to Retro Edge Games.
What is Retro Edge doing that gives it that retro edge? We have a retro feel to this place, from the fighting games that's next to another person that's pushing buttons instead of online, to the classic anime that's on the TV, to actually playing games with old-fashioned shiny cardboard. It's a little bit of an old school feel in here, but there's also an edge. It's nice, clean technology. It's well lit. It feels nice. And our attitude is a little edgy. Not mean, just edgy.
So we're a new store and we're new here from Vallejo, but we've been seeing amazing support from our community. We at Retro Edge Games built this place to basically help support creating a third place for everyone, so they can basically have a place outside of work and home to come and enjoy themselves, meet new friends, and kind of just have a place to decompress.
As soon as we did this, I knew the first thing we had to do was have a tournament standard arcade. I've been a fighting game competitor since 2001, so it was important to me to build a really great state-of-the-art tournament standard fighting game community arcade.
On Wednesday nights, we have Tabletop Magic, and we do Dungeons and Dragons every other Wednesday with our DM, Patrick. Thursdays, we do One Piece League, which has been really poppin'. Fridays, we host Open Play Commander Night for Magic the Gathering, and then we also have Grand Archive League. Saturday, we do fighting game tournaments. We start the first Saturday of the month with Super Smash Brothers, and then Tekken 8's the second Saturday of the month, and then the third Saturday of the month, we do Street Fighter 6, and then the fourth Saturday of the month, we do a retro game. We close off the week with Sundays, where we do Magic the Gathering Draft at 3 p.m. and we do Lorcana League at 5 p.m. Just a couple weeks in, we're being a Lorcana store, and I cannot be more excited about it. Our Lorcana League here at Retro Edge Games are some of the greatest people that come to our store. You can find the sign-ups for it on melee.gg. We have a great community, great prizes, and we're just getting started.
Come check us out and come and pick up that latest, juiciest set, the Azurite Seas, baby. Let's go! Are you excited about Gadget? I'm excited about the Rescue Rangers. Let's do it.
We've been around for the last 5 months, and we're looking to be a staple here in Vallejo, and we look forward to you guys coming by and checking us out.
Oh man, I've talked enough. Again, I'm BJ from Retro Edge Games. Good luck in the Battle of the Bay. Come see us on Sundays, man. That's all I gotta say. Peace.
NorCal TCG is located on Pine Street in Martinez. NorCal TCG is a hobby store specializing in trading card games, board games, collectibles, and more. Games of Berkeley is located on Durant Avenue in Berkeley. Games of Berkeley is a wall-to-wall game shop with board games, puzzles, playing cards, and a whole lot more. Retro Edge Games, located at 2085 Solano Avenue in Vallejo, the place where you can go unwind, socialize, and enjoy a sense of belonging, hosting arcade events most weekends as well as TCG and collectibles. The Launchpad is located at 712 West Lodi Avenue in Lodi, is a League Championship Series and friendly local game store, carrying board games, comic books for all ages. Level up your real estate game and ask for Jesbian at Red Oak Realty. Take Refuge Studios, Lorcana content created by LGBTQ nerds that are new to TCG games. Wanderlost, handmade leather gaming accessories that add a beautifully immersive experience to your gaming table. Green Potion Games, located at 1271 North Davis Road in Salinas, a local game store that specializes in Lorcana, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They have events for every game throughout the week. Wyatt Team. Let the Wyatt Team help you make the next move in your home financing game, because when it comes to your mortgage, you deserve a game master on your side. Sword and Board Games, located on 41st Avenue in the Capitola Mall, seeks to create fun and safe environment to nurture the premier board, card, and miniature, including role-playing games, here in the Santa Cruz County. Anime Imports, located in Pacifica on Manor Drive, features card games as well as comic books, toys, and miniatures. Destine Fantasy Games, located at 650 Central Avenue in Alameda, local toy and tabletop game store where you can find all of your TCG product, including cards, singles, and more. Gold Star Collectibles in Sacramento, located on 2440 Fulton Avenue. your one-stop shop for all your card game needs in Sacramento. This stream is brought to you by Inertia Pictures. If you need a camera solution to give a unique look to your production, we have the resources to fit your need. Game Fortress, located on Grant Avenue in Novato. A local game store that hosts weekly events and a game area for you to try out new games from our free library. DVY Collectibles, located at 1150 Arnold Drive in Martinez. They have everything from sports cards, Pokemon, memorabilia supplies, and more.
Welcome back to California, sunny California now. I'm Joe Curley, and we are almost ready for the fourth round of Swiss here. We've just been having a lunch break, the only lunch break of the day. Players, of course, starting bright and early this morning. It was a 9 a.m. call. It is now 1 p.m., but the lunch break of the day is done, which means we've got non-stop Lorcana action to come. I think 8 more rounds of Disney Lorcana coming your way without really any big breaks. We've had 3 rounds of Swiss so far in this 2-game format. We have over 128 players, which means it's going to be 8 rounds of Swiss. So we've still got, I think, 5 to go, if my maths is correct. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we've got a top 8 cart where it'll be open deck lists. And the sun is very much shining here in California, unlike yesterday, where I got soaked to the skin, soaked to the bone. I've never seen rain like it. I genuinely have not. It's like being in the rainforest. But yeah, players have had their lunch break. We've got lots of cool, exciting decks. Lots of cool, exciting things going on. There's lots of people playing Pack Rush, munching on some food. Also really awesome to have like these bumper videos of the local game stores. Haven't yet had a chance myself to check out any of the local game stores, but the plan for tomorrow is I'm at a local game store, and there's slots people can sign up for to play against me. So if you're in the area, you weren't able to come today, maybe I'll see you tomorrow instead. But huge shout out to all the organizers, everyone working behind the scenes. We've got judges, production, vendors, of course players as well, and friends and family of players. Everyone just coming together to celebrate Disney Lorcana here at the Bay Area in California. Really awesome community. Everyone's been very welcoming to me as well. I'm getting brought coffee and water and Diet Coke. What more could I possibly ask for? But it's really interesting to see how the set 6 meta is developing. I can also see chat. So if you guys have any questions about the event that you'd like to ask, any particular decks you'd be excited to see, let us know. We are going to try and pick some spicy lists up for you. But the pairings have just gone out. Players are getting sat down and getting ready to go. And if you didn't see, I went to Pixar Studios the other day. We've actually got quite a few members of the Pixar Animation Studios, which is based very nearby here to where the event is. And I was lucky enough to visit the studio on Thursday, and that was just very, very surreal. I actually ended up playing some Lorcana at Pixar Studios, and I got absolutely battered and bruised 0 wins, 4 losses. I got sent home packing. In fact, I don't even know if I've got a single win since I've been here in California. But I am taking a look at the next decks we're going to be seeing, and it's spicy. I want to make sure that I don't give anything away until the players are sat down, because just in case they can hear me. But it's spicy. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. All right, okay. So if you guys know me, you could probably predict what deck I'm excited to see. And I can say I recognize one of our players here. One of our players here to the left, Jonathan. And we'll just get the exact names up for you. Let me. Yeah, we've got Jonathan Lee to the left, who I'm sure won't mind me saying does work at Pixar. They very kindly gave me a wonderful tour of Pixar Studios on Thursday, which was incredibly kind of them. And on the other side, we've got Quincy here. Quincy is not someone I've met, but we have got a very exciting matchup because Jonathan is playing a very, very spicy deck of Sapphire Steel. Now, when you hear Sapphire Steel, you might expect to know what the list looks like. Well, let me tell you, there's all kinds of surprises in this list, which I'm going to let you see as we go. And speaking of spicy, unorthodox color combination from Quincy here. Ruby Emerald. That's right, Ruby Emerald. And that's how you know I'm excited. One of my favorite color combinations in Disney Lorcana, often known as Christmas colors. It is closed deck lists at this stage in the tournament. The deck list will become open after a while, but one of the interesting cards to highlight here for Jonathan's deck is Alice, a new 3-cost character with Ward, which when quests gives another character of yours Ward and +1 lore. In many ways, questing for 3. There's locations in there as well for Jonathan. You've got Scrooge McDuck's Manor, as well as the 7 Dwarfs Mine, and there's 3 copies of Happy, 3 copies of Doc. John Silver's in there, there's Baymax, there's Pluto. Really spicy take on Sapphire Steel here for Jonathan. And Quincy here, the deck titled Pay to Lose. There's Diablo, there's Robin Hood Sharpshooter, Pete, Bad Guy, Maui Shark. You Came Back, a new addition into this Ruby Emerald deck as well. You Came Back is ready chosen character. So you could quest with Robin Hood, find You Came Back, ready Robin Hood, and go again, rinse and repeat. Going to be really excited to see these decks in action here. 4th round of Swiss, a total of 8 rounds, with the top 8 players then going on to that open deck list top cut. Jonathan beat me when I played against them very, very comfortably on the other day. Let's see if they can do it again now on the big stage. Jonathan's going to be kicking things off. It's going to be Scrooge McDuck Manor into the ink, and it's going to be the Fortosphere down on the board. And I think Quincy, they're just going, interesting. Okay, I see what's going on here. Seeing that McDuck Manor. Does know, therefore, it's Sapphire Steel. It's going to be the D23 Ursula. Not just any old Ursula being inked, but no turn 1 player. I can tell you the only 1-cost character in the list here is that 1-cost Diablo. There is also Hidden Cove, neither of which have been found. I can see that 7 Dwarfs Mine in the hand now here for Jonathan, which is a 2-cost location, gaining 1 lore per turn. But let's see if that's what they go for. It will be Mr. Smee to be inked, and it will be the 7 Dwarfs Mine coming through. So the 7 Dwarfs Mine, 6 willpower. It costs 2 to move a character there, and it gains 1 lore per turn. The first character you move there each turn deals 1 damage. However, if it's a knight, you can deal 2. So look out for Happy and Doc in Jonathan's deck, both being those dwarfs and both being knights. Can be a great option to deal with some opponent's cards. But Gaston comes through here for Quincy. 4 strength and 2 willpower. It is reckless, so unable to quest, but big stats. Pretty good at dealing with the 7 Dwarfs Mine. And the 7 Dwarfs Mine does kick things off for Jonathan by getting that 1 lore to start their turn. 3-cost cards for Jonathan would be that Alice is going to be the main option, but do they have it? Pluto, the guard dog being considered to be inked. There's Hiram Flavershams in hand as well. Really exciting to see these new takes on decks. It will be the Fortosphere Inked. Is it going to be Alice? It certainly is. Alice in Wonderland, 1/4 stat line with Ward, questing for 2, and when questing, you give another character of your choice +1 lore and Ward. So Alice in many situations questing for 3, but without another character on board, Alice likely to just be questing for 1, but can give Ward to something like Flaversham next turn. This Gaston, of course, can challenge the Seven Dwarfs Mine for 4 damage, but that Seven Dwarfs Mine does have a total of 6 willpower, so going to need quite a bit more to polish it off. Great to see so many people in the chat. Thanks for sticking with us during that break. Gaston will be challenging the mine, but 6 willpower total means it's going to live to fight another day. If Jonathan can get a dwarf down on the board and move it into the mine, 2 damage could be dealt to that Gaston to polish it off. That's something to look out for. An enchanted Pete Bad Guy in the hand here for our Ruby Emerald player. Pete Bad Guy has Ward, and it quests, I believe, for just 1, but if you play 2 actions in a turn, it gains strength and can gain more lore once it has a certain amount of strength. It quests for 2, but it's possible to get up to 4. Speaking of enchanteds, 1 enchanted in the ink and an enchanted on the board. It's Diablo. Pay to lose is the name of the deck. Starting to see why with all those enchanteds, my goodness. Another lore gained for the Seven Dwarfs Mine. 2 lore to 0 in favor of Jonathan. Jonathan did go first, though, in this game. It is the 2-game format, so each player with an opportunity to go first. Jonathan having a little dance while they consider their options. Of course, Alice questing for 2 here. If you move into the mine with Alice, only 1 damage could be dealt to Gaston or Diablo, so right about now, Happy would be a great option. Can see, and then along came Zeus in Jonathan's hand. Potentially they're just considering that option to hard cast that to deal with either the Gaston or the Diablo. Pluto also an option. Still at 3 ink, but can of course go up to 4 this turn. Two lore to 0 as it stands. Yeah, Pluto, this new 4-cost bodyguard, it has a 5/5 body when no damage is on it. So we're seeing Pluto be a pretty popular card in the early set 6 metagame. A lot of the NA players in the NA versus EU competition utilizing it. Cogsworth, the card being considered to go into the Inkwell by Jonathan. You can see all the players in the background behind Jonathan there. 128, more than 128 players in the main event here in sunny California. It is really sunny now. Cogsworth inked, and it is going to be that Pluto guard dog. So it's got a 5/5 stat line, and Alice is now giving it Ward as well until the start of the next turn. So Alice questing for 2 and giving Ward to Pluto, which is a 5/5 bodyguard. Gaston will be able to challenge the Seven Dwarfs Mine, however. Bodyguard only protects your other characters. It does not protect your locations. Diablo is now ready to be exerted as well. Of course, Diablo or Gaston could challenge the Seven Dwarfs Mine to polish it off. Alice and Pluto currently with Ward. Hope everyone in the chat is good. If you guys have got any questions about the action, anything you'd like to see, ask me. Feel free to let me know. Brawl's going to be inked. Of course, that Alice has Ward, so not going to be a good option to Brawl. Really love the idea of Alice into Pluto. It is going to be the Robin Hood Sharpshooter. Hello! I'm a very happy man seeing Robin Hood Sharpshooter, and it's enchanted. I got a play set at the Sharpshooter Robin Hood. It is going to be Gaston polishing off the mine, and Diablo will quest for 1, meaning it is now 4 lore to 1 in favor of Jonathan. That Pluto guard dog standing tall, standing strong, but that Robin Hood Sharpshooter can get out of hand pretty quickly. And speaking of getting out of hand quickly, Diablo is exerted and ready to draw. What's been the main colours? It's been very diverse so far, yeah. We've seen some ruby amethyst. We've seen all sorts of different things. Jonathan, it's going to be 1 ink spent on fire the cannons. Now that is efficiency. Dealing with Diablo. Speaking of efficiency, Pluto singing, and then along came Zeus, dealing with that very pretty Robin Hood sharpshooter. Alice going to quest for 2, and going to give Pluto ward yet again. Speaking of Alice, here's another one, mate. 1 ink on fire the cannons, 3 ink on Alice. No ink spent on that Zeus as it was sung by Pluto. Very, very nice turn by Jonathan. That double Alice looking pretty scary. Jonathan's got 3 characters on the board and they all have ward right now. Incredible. Is there a meta share? We will be providing that, but it's not currently available. But stay tuned. It is something I believe that's being worked on. Jonathan currently only has 1 card left in hand, but they've done a good job. Like dealing with that Robin Hood sharpshooter before it can get going is really important. It's going to be 1 cost Diablo, seeing the 1 card in hand, and it's a scary one to see. It's the Hiram Flavisham. Well, speaking of scary to see, in comes Robin Hood, and look at that, Gaston singing Sudden Chill. Well, it's not so scary anymore. The Toy Maker has been discarded. Jonathan, now in top deck mode with a Robin Hood sharpshooting, is staring him down. Finds Sail the Azurite Sea. You can spend 2 ink to draw a card. Not exactly what you're looking for. Finds the Fortress Sphere for 1, allows him to draw another card, and another Fortress Sphere for 1. So all ink spent, but they're now back into top deck mode in a way. Not sure what that last card is. Well, we might find out. Oh my goodness, Jonathan, stop that. The Robin Hood sharpshooter dealt with yet again by Zeus. Alice will quest for 2. Now the decision is, do you give the... They're just getting that fixed. The question is, do they get the Pluto given ward and +1 law, or do you give Alice more ward simply for that extra +1 law? So Alice, when it quests, can give ward and +1 law. So the decision here for Jonathan is they either ward up Pluto or they give Alice that +1 law. They're going to give Alice the +1 law, it seems, meaning Alice is now double warded, which I don't think is a thing. It just has ward, but it's going to quest for 3, which puts them up to 11, I believe. So that Pluto is still a bodyguard, and it's a 5/5 bodyguard. If it's damaged, it goes back down to a 1/5 bodyguard, though. But those, and then along came Zeus, being sung by Pluto to deal with the Robin Hood. A huge bit of value for Jonathan in this game so far. Those Alice cards both with ward. Pluto not currently with ward, with a 5/5 stat line. But if Diablo flies into the Pluto, it is now a 1/5. So Gaston will be able to take it out, taking 1 damage back. So the Pluto has been dealt with. And it's going to be the Enchanted You Came Back, which readies Gaston. I have an Enchanted You Came Back as well. And allows Gaston to challenge again, dealing with one of the Alice cards. Pete into the ink, and it's another Enchanted. It's Enchanted Diablo. Filled with Enchanteds, this deck. And it's top deck mode for Jonathan, but that's the card you want to find. It's the Hiram Flavisham. Banishing the Fortress Sphere, drawing a couple of cards. Great way to spend 4 ink there for Jonathan. Alice is ready and waiting to quest as well. It's going to be Happy down on the board. This is an evasive 2/1 during Jonathan's turn. A great way of dealing potentially with that Diablo. And the ward has been given to Hiram Flavisham. So Hiram Flavisham with ward now, thanks to Alice. It's going to be Hypnotize. No cards to discard for Jonathan, who kindly shows us that with those jazz hands, but Hypnotize will draw another card here for Quincy. Quincy with the Diablo on the board is able to challenge Alice. Alice has a 1/4 stat line, Diablo with a 2/2 stat line, however, so not the most appealing option to take the challenge there. Paid to Lose is the name of the deck for Quincy here. Diablo is going to quest. It's another you came back. It's actually going to challenge the Alice twice. So Diablo challenges Alice, and then 3 ink spent on you came back, readying Diablo and challenging again to deal with the Alice. It's going to be Flaversham questing. And you would imagine the 4th sphere is going to be banished. Drawing 2 more cards. It's now the Hiram Flaversham show. Of course, that Happy really pressuring the Diablo. It's going to be John Silver coming through and the 7 Dwarfs Mine. Happy's going to quest for 1. It looks like it's Jonathan's game here. The key being those, and then along came Zeus to answer the Robin Hood's. Pirate's Life comes through. It's going to put Jonathan back down to 13, but it seems like it might be too little too late. The 7 Dwarfs Mine is going to tick along and put Jonathan up to 14 lore. This John Silver currently questing for 2, Happy for 1, gets them up to 17. 18 with the Flaversham. So it's going to be a Fortress Sphere banished. 2 cards drawn for Jonathan. And in comes the McDuck Manor, the lesser spotted location in a lot of ways, but really nice to see the synergy with John Silver and the 7 Dwarfs Mine. And in comes also into the hand of Jonathan a new legendary card from Azurite Sea, the Baymax. Definitely an interesting card with the Pluto in particular. Baymax is able to heal when you play it and gain lore when you do so. But it is the game for Jonathan. Game number 1 goes to Jonathan. I do believe Jonathan went first in this one. And it is the 2-game format. So Quincy's going to have the opportunity to go second here, go first in game number 2. Really awesome to see the Ruby Emerald deck. You came back a new addition into this one. You guys know me, I love a bit of Ruby Emerald action. But both players with a pretty interesting take on their respective lists. Jonathan with some locations in there. The Fire the Cannons was pretty key. Has John Silver as well to put in some work with the locations. Alice, one of the best cards of the set, I think. Hope everyone's good. This is Battle of the Bay, live from California, the 4th round of Swiss, 8 rounds total. That's some clean shuffling from Jonathan. I wish I could shuffle like that. I really do. And yeah, Jonathan on the left there, working for Pixar, which is super awesome. Pixar Studios invited me with Jonathan very kindly to their offices on Thursday. I got to have a little look around, played some Lorcana, and let me tell you, they are not messing around at Pixar Studios. They know a thing or two about how to play Lorcana, that's for sure. Both players shuffling and getting ready for the next round. So 2-game format. If you guys are not familiar with the 2-game format, each player has an opportunity to go first once. You get 3 points per win. And if you get the 2 games, it's going to be 7 points. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream. Set 6 is now upon us. What cards are you guys most excited to see today? We've seen some Sugar Rush Speedways. We've now seen You Came Back. We've seen a lot of Genie action. Haven't seen too much of Maui Shark yet, but there's plenty of time still to go. All right, game number 2. Let's have a look at the opening hand for Jonathan. You can see, and then along came Zeus in there. Those locations are definitely a lot better when going first compared with going second. See if we can see the Robin Hood Sharpshooter pick up any steam here.